Hello everyone, bonjour tout le monde. Welcome to EFA155 on this Monday, August 24th. My stats to date. I'm going to talk about my stats. This is you watching me, my stats to date. And what are the stats? What is YouTube telling me? And I'm going to start by saying let's subscribe, right? Please subscribe. This is 155 in a row now. I've actually done more than that, but on this EFA was 155 in a row, and I never asked, and I have asked once or twice or three times maybe, but people tell me ask, right? So please subscribe. Just create yourself a YouTube channel, click subscribe, click on the bell, and etc. So these stats are important, and the more people subscribe, the more I grow, and the more it becomes interesting, right? So let me talk about my stats right now. And you're going to hear me talk about bringing it to center. And you hear me say that throughout my podcast on equality for all. Like, what's equality, right? and bringing it to center. And I've been accused, are you right? Are you like right winger? Or are you like, you know what? Bring it to center. I don't like titles, and I'm going to get into that. But I'm going to talk about my stats and how my stats work into my genre, right? And how I don't like titles. But I believe in center and I believe in balance, and especially the women and men percentage here will be very interesting. So let's talk about this. What do I mean by bringing it to center? And these are my stats to date. I don't need titles. I've said this before, and I'm going to say this again. I'm not right, I'm not left, I'm center. If you're going to call me anything, if you're going to call me right, you're going to call me right on financials. I believe in strong financials and that. If you want to call me left, call me on programs, because I believe in programs. I believe in equality. I believe in bringing it to center. That is me. If you want to give me a title, I don't know, bring it to center, right? And this is where BITC, bring it to center. So these stats here, it's going to make sense to you when I talk about this, because this is me, and this is when I look at this. This is what I'm trying to deliver when I'm looking at equality for all, right? So people talk to me about you like to teach and you like to mentor, and I do. And I do like to teach it. And if you look at my background, I did a lot of teaching, right? I've done teaching, substitute teaching at Algonquin College in the, at the time it was called the Law and Security Program. I've done a stick collegiate in Ottawa here. I even wrote part of the program and taught there. I've taught around this province for the government of Ontario. I've delivered private programs. I teach, like I've done a lot of that kind of stuff. I like mentoring, and people will tell you that I do that. So when I look at teaching and how far back I've taught, back in my early 20s, I'm 54 and I'm still doing it, right? So 30 years of learning to do stuff like that in teaching and learning. So if I'm delivering anything, it's because I believe in teaching, and it's our duty to teach, right? And you heard me tell you that before. And I also believe in learning, because more I do this, more I learn, more I research, this is what I do. I speak from knowledge, training, and experience, and I also speak from research, right? From people that have the knowledge, training, and experience, and I actually live it anecdotally. That's where I get my information from, right? It's either from knowledge, training, and experience, or I've researched it. When I look at my investigative background, I research those that have the knowledge, training, and experience and actually live it anecdotally. So that's the learning part, and I absorb that learning at the same time, and I like to deliver it because it's our duty to teach. Lifestyle influencers, people have told me that you're influencing, you've influenced me. I had another call today, right? A gentleman called me, said I missed my breakfast this morning, right? I'm following that lifestyle. I'm constantly getting that kind of stuff because it's our duty to teach. You're going to hear me say that over and over again. And B, when you see results in someone, if you see somebody doing good in life, or you want to participate in good, don't you? Whether it's somebody that's part of your community, part of your charity, part of your whatever, you want to take part of good. So when you're seeing something good happening to someone, you want to take part in that. And that's why people are asking questions. And that's why I don't mind being an influencer. People tell me you're an influencer. I don't mind being an influencer because it's part of teaching, it's part of mentoring. Right? So there you go, mentor right there. It's part of teaching and part of mentoring, and something I enjoy. If you love doing something, you're going to do it right, right? If you love doing something, you're going to do it right, and trust me on that. And if you want to do something right, learn from someone that's done it right. And I'm sure that's resounding right now, but if you want to do something right, learn from somebody that's done it right. And I'm learning from those that have done it right, and those that have the 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 years of research to back it up, right? That's why when I say right to left, I'm not right and I'm not left, right? I'm bringing it to center. I'll tell you I'm more probably right when it comes to financials. I'm more left when it comes to programs, right? Democracy, bring it to center, bring your democracy. When it's too far left and too far right, it goes out of balance, it becomes fragmented. Your equilibrium, right, just becomes a big wobble. That's what happens. And that's what the earth is right now, a big wobble. 2020 is a big wobble from that. And I'm sure a lot of you out there are going, yeah, you're right, man. It is. That's what we are. We're on a big freaking wobble. And that's why you got to bring it back to center. And that's why the democracy is off in a lot of these parts of the world. And I'm going to get into this. So here's my stats first. Okay, let's get into this. What you guys loved, if I look at all my stats and I look at the Equality for All videos, just those specific videos, 155 of them, those videos there, what you guys like, you love the interviews. The interviews that one of them I have with Vince Porco, New York, hair salon in Ottawa, and Greg Pollock of the Gladiator Strength and Conditioning here in Ottawa, and Counselor George Darouse, counselor in Ottawa. These three interviews, what's interesting about that, if you look at the subject and you look at the topic of that, they were about community, they're about small businesses, they're about families, and they're about support. If you look at those three gentlemen's interviews, influential gentlemen in the city of Ottawa here, and well-loved and respected gentlemen, but also they touch on topics. These two were affected by the COVID shutdowns at the time. They're fully operational now, but it's also their client base and people that feel good about going to hair salon, people that feel good to be taught by a coach in strength and conditioning, right? Here's a counselor that's constantly out in the community, constantly at events, that kind of stuff. So when I looked at these interviews, and they were powerful interviews, they were good interviews, and they resonated with a lot of views. They resonated with a lot of views. And I look at the topic of commonality. That's my mindset. If I look at commonalities, it's about community, it's about small businesses, it's about family, it's about support. The other thing that you guys love was my French came out of me here. My daughter Madeleine, Maddie, she goes by Maddie, but Madeleine spelled like my mother, Madeleine. My daughter Madeleine did a video with me. I had picked up the guitar, and I was 20 years, I don't remember. I really picked up the guitar and I played with her and that kind of stuff. And she sang, and she never wants to sing and showing her face, that kind of stuff. So you guys love that video. We did a rendition of House of the Rising Sun. So these here was my top four, right? When I look at my top four. But what was interesting is the other stats. Those that I did not have, that have less clothes on, where I'm showing more my physique, and I have one video where I'm showing my physique. There's a lot of click-throughs, meaning you were on it throughout the whole video. That there's a lot more percentage increase of clicking through the whole video and looking at it. So clothes seems to be an option here. That if I want more views, more clicks, I should take off my clothes. Right? I'm just kidding. But which if you look at the world of social media, that's the world, right? The other one, men and women. Men were 48% of my viewers. Women, thank you, ladies. 52% of my viewers were women, right? And here's an interesting thing about the women. They were the longest in views, longest in duration, and longest in percentage, right? Thank you, ladies. And those that know me and those that advocate and knows that everything I've done in government or in business or in life, and I love strong women. I love strong, driven women. I advocate and I raise my daughters that way. And I said this before. I told her to take off the eyes of a horse, the blinders, to never let anybody put you behind them, right? You're beside them or ahead of them or whichever, but never get pulled back, right? Never get stopped in life, because just women alone, you'll have that struggle throughout life. So I believe in strong, driven women, and I believe in women with voices. And I've said this before, when you have a country, a democratic country that believes in the women's right, that's the fabric you want to be part of. That's the strength of a democratic society. Because look at all your societies that don't respect women. Look at their fabric. Look at the democracy. There's not much of it. So let's keep going here. So thank you, ladies, for the support here. The other one, a 50-50 split for all you techies out there between the iPhone users and the Androids. So there's actually 50% of the people that watch me are either iPhone users, and the other 50% are Android users. Those that know me, I'm an Android guy, but my wife and my wife and one daughter is Android. My daughter and I are Android, and their iPhone. Sorry, their iPhone were Androids. I think my other daughter's kind of swinging towards an iPhone, but I'm still an Android guy. So, but a 50-50 split here. The other one, 70% of the people off a phone. People that view me, 70% of views are off a phone. The other 20% are off a screen. Guys like me, I prefer a screen, a big screen, or projected on a screen. And then you have that 10% which is on your gamers. Your gamers are looking. Your gamers are paying attention. So 10% of views are on game devices. 20% of views are on screens, whether it's a desktop, laptop, or a television screen. And the other 70% are watching me or view me through their phone systems. And here's the other interesting one. 30% of the people watching me are outside of Canada. That means Canadian, North American, Canada, US. Highest percentage is in Canada. Then I had a percentage in the US. But outside of that 71%, it's outside of Canada, US. So the world is watching. The world is paying attention. I do get some comments, which I thank you very much. So that's why if it's tied into subscribe, and I enjoy the comments and the conversations, that kind of stuff. And I want to get into that. So again, thank you for these stats. They're very interesting, and I'm looking at my stats and like, how can I do better, right? I'm learning also, so how can I do better? And I can do better by asking you to subscribe. And here's the things I want to talk about. What is my genre, right? What's my departments? What's my category, right? What's my brand here? Like when I'm looking at music, what is a genre? And I ask people, and people ask like your mix of who I am is I told you I don't want titles, right? But I am lifestyle. I am lifestyle, and I've always been that way, and have some form of lifestyle. But I believe in lifestyle. I believe in health, fitness, and wellness, right? So I believe in that, and I'll advocate for that. I believe in community, and that's why you're going to hear me talk about politics. Politics ties into community. And Councillor George DeRoos, when he mentioned that your municipal government is your most important government, that you should be really paying attention to, right? We all pay attention to our federal and our prime ministers and our presidents and so forth, but your local communities and your politicians, that really affects you also a lot. So that's why when you look at communities, so when I look at community, that's politics for me. That's politics, because that's your schools, that's your businesses, that's your day-to-day life that surrounds you. Yes, your federal comes down, they push it down, the provincial pushes it down, and your municipals, they grab up and down between each other's levels of governance. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to community, and if you voice your community strong enough, it'll make it to the federal level, right? But the community, that's why I tie into politics. And that's why I don't want to be known as left or right. I want to be known as center. But if you're going to categorize me, there is more right-wing thought financially for me when I look at that. But programs now. So that's why I like to bring it to center. Because when you have a balanced government, when they're balanced on everything, when you look at equality for all, for the equality of everyone, right? And that's why whether I'm tying health and wellness, and I can teach you how to be fit naturally and for free, and that'll give you a better equality through a lot of other things in life, right? And that's why I talk about the health and wellness, and that's why I talk about the community, because of the politics and having these kind of conversations, and just bringing in my daughter and just showing the other part of me, right? So that are my stats. I want to thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of the community, the Equality for All community. Please subscribe, please share, please and pass on the information, because a lot of the other stats, you can tell that people are learning, people are reaching out, so and people are passing on the information. So I thank you again, Jean-Guy here for Equality for All, and wishing each and every one of you a most productive day ahead of you.